What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Handmade Business Secrets podcast. And today I want to talk to you about the one thing that will either blow your business up in a great way or blow your business up in a not so great way. Let's dive in. All right, well, hey, welcome back to the podcast. For those of you watching this on YouTube, just a reminder, we've got over 85 episodes of the podcast on Apple, Spotify, Handmade Business Secrets. You can look up Zach Vaught, Handmade Business Secrets. For those of you listening, we're posting all this content now on YouTube as well. So today I want to talk to you about the one thing. It's kind of a hack that allows businesses to grow exponentially faster than their competitors if they know how to do it well. And it will actually destroy your business if you don't know how to do it well. So I want to talk to you today about this one secret, and it's referrals. The power of referrals inside of your business. Now, a lot of people that start off, that's kind of how their business just gets any traction at all, is that they don't have any paid advertising, they don't spend any money on ads, they don't really know how to create a brand, but they do have friends and family or people that they do small jobs for that will speak highly of them to their neighbors or their friends, right? And they get a job here or a job there based on referrals. And so the number one thing that I want to make clear today is that you cannot build a business solely on referrals, but referrals will help you exponentially grow your business. And I'm going to talk to you about this relationship that we need to have with referrals. And I'm going to give you a couple really positive things that come from being able to generate referrals. So just to begin with, how do you get referrals? You get referrals by creating an incredible product and an incredible experience for your customers. So what does this mean? From a woodworking standpoint, from a custom, let's say you're making signs, or let's say you're making cutting boards, or let's say that you're making, birdhouses, or whatever it is that maybe you're making. You need to focus on two things to get referrals. Number one is you need to focus on creating a great product, because long after they're done dealing with you and they have their product's going to be in their home, or it's going to be in their yard, or wherever it's going to be. That product is what they're going to see on a daily basis. And if that is an incredible product, they're going to constantly be in a place to where, yeah, this is the best product that I found. I'm excited about it. I want to tell my friends about it. The second thing that you need to have to generate referrals in your business is a great experience for your customers. Anybody ever gone somewhere to get a product that you've heard was great, but then had a terrible experience? Well, it kind of runs you to it. It's like you see this a lot of times in the restaurant business, where it's like, well, I know that they have great food, but we got to wait for an hour and a half to sit down. And then once we sit down, we got to wait for another hour to get our food. My drink ran out. The waitress or waiter didn't come on and get it right. So it's like you can ultimately have a great product, but if the customer has to go through hell and back in order to get it and deal with your terrible team or your terrible customer service, then it's not really a win-win for them, okay? So I want to talk to you about why referrals are super important, okay? So we now know the two things we need to generate referrals in our business. Number one, a great product. Number two, a great experience for the customer. How do you create a great experience? Just communication most of the time. That's the key to creating a great experience for your customers. But I want to give you 3 positive things that referrals do for your business. Number one, referrals lower your cost to acquire a customer. And so one of the things that you need to have an understanding of is, how much does it cost me to acquire a customer? In the world of business, most every business has a marketing and advertising budget. They have money that goes to allowing them to be seen or known to their target audience, right? Over time, in the paid advertising world, you get an understanding of how much does it cost me to get one more new customer. Let's say that I spent $1,000 in advertising and I generated 10 customers. How much did it cost me to acquire each of those customers? It cost me $100, right? As you get into the business side of this, you need to continue to learn more and more about what the cost is to acquire a customer. But the beauty of referrals is that you're now getting customers without having to spend any money on advertising. So if you want to ramp up your business quickly out of the gate, you need to have an advertising and marketing budget. This is going to allow you to get in front of people, allow you to be seen. And if you have a good product, it will take off. It will take off if you have a great product, if you have a great brand that resonates with the customer. But then after that, as you start getting into, you're at month 6, month 10, month 12, into your second, third, fourth year, and you're providing a great product and a great service for your customers, what's going to happen is they'll start talking to their friends and their family, and so you'll start getting people calling you or messaging you, hey, my friend bought a table from you, or hey, my friend bought this thing from you a couple months ago, and I was over at their house and they were bragging on how awesome of an experience it was. The product's beautiful. I'd like to get a quote. I'd like to get information. I'd like to place an order, whatever that might look like, right? And so what happens is that before, when you start out, and let's say we'll use that same example, I'm trying to acquire 10 new customers a month. I got to spend $1,000 to do that, which is $100 to acquire a customer for each one of those. Well, now month 6, let's just, for the sake of simplicity, I'm spending the same exact amount of money. I'm still spending $1,000 every month in marketing, but now I'm getting 2 or 3 referrals per month. Well, now I get to spread my $1,000 in advertising spend across 13 customers or 13 orders instead of the original 10. So that takes your average cost to acquire a customer, let's see, 1,000 divided by 13, down to $76, right? So what referrals allows you to do is it allows you to lower your cost of acquisition, lower your cost to acquire a customer, okay? Here's the second thing that referrals do for your business is they solidify your brand recognition. Now, this is one of those things that is an intangible. So it means that it can't really be measured with numbers. But one thing that is so powerful about referrals is that it just gives this legitimacy to your business. It gives this legitimacy to your brand, because you're either going to generate positive feedback or negative feedback to your business. Very rarely are you going to generate neutral feedback around your business or your products or your services or your customer service. And so what happens is, if you can generate positive referrals, if you can generate positive buzz around your business, it basically positions you in a place that everybody's heard of you at some point in time. So imagine that I come to you, you've never heard of me before. Maybe you're watching this video for the first time. You don't know anything about me. Well, it's going to take a little bit longer for you to generate trust towards me as a content creator, or as somebody that has some knowledge in this space, right? But let's say that you have a woodworking friend that comes to you and says, dude, you've got to listen to the Handmade Business Secrets podcast. This is that guy. He's the bee's knees. He's the cat's pajamas. You got to listen to this guy. He's awesome, right? Well, you know, like and trust your friend. And so when you put on the podcast, or you go to YouTube and you start watching my content, you're immediately going to have, and just initially, more trust towards me because of your friend, right? Anybody ever hurt one of your friends? Like somebody broke up with one of your friends and you just have this secondary offense, right, toward that person? Well, it's the same way with referrals in business. Is if a business treats your friend in a really positive and great way, then you're going to have positive trust. You're already going to like and trust that person. Then really the only thing you got to do is get to know that business. And so referrals really solidify brand recognition. It's something that it's hard to measure, but you will feel its effects in a positive way in your business. And number 3, and this one's one of the great ones, especially in our niche, in the woodworking handmade niche, and it's referrals will give you a leg up over the competition. And so the reality is that most people in our space are average. And that's in any space. You know, most people inside of any space are very average. They create average products. It's a average, or it's a poor experience working with them because they don't communicate, they're not organized, they don't hold to their timelines. One of the greatest and the easiest ways to succeed in business is just do what you say you're going to do, period. Like if you'll do what you say you're going to do, and you'll be dependable and reliable, and if you can't do what you said you were going to do, but you'll communicate with the customer and say, hey, I just want to let you know, I know that we plan on getting your order done here. These are the hiccups we ran into. I'm making it a priority to get it done by this day. Like, just communicating with your customer and holding to what you say you're going to do will put you in the top 5% in your space. Point blank, period. But back to referrals giving you a leg up over the competition. Everybody else is they're not thinking about reviews, referrals. They're not thinking about the customer experience. They're not thinking about how do I wow my customer. They're thinking about how do I make money. They focus all their attention on how do I get orders and how do I make money, and it's focused inwardly, right? So if you can demonstrate the self-control and the wherewithal to care about the customer and to think about how do I make this an incredible experience for them. And this is literally like dropping a letter in the mail. before their order gets there and just says, hey, thank you guys so much for placing an order. We don't take it lightly. We look forward to this relationship with you. Just thinking of you and the family today. Love, Zach. Something like just the littlest things. It's like that costs you $2 to do and it costs you 3 or 4 minutes. The smallest things go a long way in generating referrals. But what this does is it separates you from your competition. Your competition is not doing this. They're not thinking that way. They're not being proactive. And what's ultimately happening is they're going to generate either most likely neutral or negative feedback around their business or their brand. That leads me to my next thing I want to talk about, and that's negative feedback or negative referrals. It can either go positive or it can go negative. Very rarely is it neutral. If it's neutral, they just won't your customers won't talk about you at all, right? But if they have a bad experience, they're going to talk about you in a bad way. Let me say it like this. For every negative review or for every negative experience that a customer has, you've got to try to overcome that by creating 10 positive ones. Why? Because negative feedback travels way faster than positive. That's why when you turn on the news, it's like they want to tell you all the horrible things that are happening in the world. Why? Because bad news sells, right? People want to hear the bad news. They want to hear the juicy gossip, right? Of why this company did you wrong or whatever, right? So negative customer feedback is going to be used in a couple ways. And let me just say this, you will have negative feedback. If you continue to grow, you will never ever bat 1,000. You will never be able to please everybody. You'll have customers that are just outrageous at times. You'll have people with really poor expectations. You'll have people that it just doesn't work, right? Even if you kill it, you will at some point get negative feedback from somebody. Here's what you can do with negative feedback. You got a couple choices, okay? Number one is you can learn from it. You rarely learn when everything's going smoothly. When everything in your world is, man, we're killing it on every regard, I don't have a need to learn. Why? Because in my mind, I'm already succeeding. I'm already doing everything that I want to do. I don't have a need or desire to get any better, okay? Now, if you're an absolute A player, you'll still figure out how to get better even when you're already winning. But most people don't. Most people, when they're having a positive experience, they're not learning. Think about in your life when you've had the worst times in your life, whether it be in your business or it be in your relationships. When you've gotten constructive or negative feedback around your life, you have the choice now to get better. People demonize failure. People demonize negative feedback. They think, oh man, I can't believe that happened. I can't believe so-and-so said that. They gave you an opportunity to get better. Your customers are going to be the ones that tell you how to improve your product and improve the experience. Okay, so you need to gather that feedback and do something with it. If you have 10 positive customers, hey, everything was great. Zach and the team, they were awesome. They communicated well. The product was awesome. They were on time. I don't learn anything from that. But when I have the customer that says, hey, there was a gap in communication, the product showed up and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, the paint or the stain or the finish or whatever wasn't up to par or whatever, right? It can be anything constructive or negative. That is where you pull out your notebook, you pull out your notes and you say, here's a problem. How can I start solving that problem? Okay. And again, running and owning a business is nothing more than addressing and solving problems inside of your business, okay? So that's the first option that you have with negative feedback is you can learn from it and you can grow from it and you can actually really start dominating your competitors by using that negative feedback to make your business better and stronger, or you can destroy your business because you refuse to learn from it. Too many people are going after fast money. Too many people are trying to make a lick, selling a bunch of products, trying to grow a business, and they disregard this. And what happens is now your cost to acquire a customer actually goes up. And so we talked about this earlier in the podcast, but you have so much negative feedback around your business or your brand that most people that are seeing your marketing, your advertising, they're like, oh, I would order from them, but my friend said that it was a terrible experience. Or my friend said that blah, 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 and they don't seem to have negative reviews on Facebook and Google. The whole idea here is that the power of referrals is it's incredible. I mean, referrals is a really, really big deal. And the last thing I would just say is that you need to have a plan in place to generate referrals. And so if you don't have a plan to generate referrals, you're not going to generate referrals. So with that being said, one thing that I do with my customers is I send out a cutting board that we make out of scrap wood. Doesn't cost me hardly anything. I send out a cutting board with just a little card on it, just a thank you card. Thank you for placing your order with us. It means the world to us and our families. If you've had a positive experience with us, leave us a review. And also, we pay out a referral fee to anybody that refers customers to us. And so that's the power of referrals. And so with that being said, guys, I want to wrap this episode up. For those of you that are trying to grow your business, that you're like, man, I'm actively trying to grow this thing, and I'm currently doing $2,000 to $10,000 a month, but I feel like I'm on the fringe of actually growing it. We help people just like you in your custom furniture and woodworking business all across the country. So if that's you, if you're watching this video, I got a link in the description below to apply for our Woodworking Business Accelerator program. Now, if you're just getting started and you're like, man, I need more resources, I want more information on how to grow, I wrote a completely free book that you can go and you can download the ebook completely for free, also in the description below. So it's called the Handmade Business Secrets book. It's written by me. It's only like 85 pages long, but it's going to give you the foundational principles that you need to focus on your first year in your business. Other than that, I've got a Facebook group that you can join. And if you like this content, if this was valuable to you, be sure to like and subscribe to the page. That really helps me a lot, get in front of more woodworkers, more custom furniture business owners across the country, and help them scale to a point that they can quit their job, support their families, or just have a great hobby. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to wrap this episode up. I love you. Thank you for your support. I'll catch you on the next one.